Hi there and welcome to Apple World. Diddy Comes has been nothing short of fantastic, and what's coming out at this point is significantly more stunning than anybody might have envisioned. It's not only the superstars or colleagues turning their backs on him, it's his own loved ones. Indeed, you heard that right. His own children have supposedly made an arrangement with the FBI spilling subtleties that could seal the destiny of their once strong dad. These aren't simply unclear murmurs any longer. As the examination unfolds, the job Diddy's sons played in his defeat is coming into center, and the snare of associations is more bent than we have all time thought. This must be a 100% culture shock. I can't envision living Diddy's capture was a seismic occasion that sent shockwaves to the diversion world. He's no more peculiar to outrage, except for this time it's various his domain isn't simply being shaken by bits of gossip, it's being methodically destroyed. The charges against him are downright overpowering. We're talking racketeering, extortion, and obviously his wild gatherings that are currently integral to the examination. These were the gatherings where Diddy supposedly tricked individuals into an existence of overabundance, where strong VIPs blended and celebrated like there was no tomorrow, except for underneath all the style and charm, something far more obscure was fermenting. You realize, I think, in government court, and for these charges they would agree that it's standard, yet in people in general domain this is exceptionally huge, just from who we partnered Diddy being, and all that we've seen him do over the many years. Like you said, this is an incredible defeat to go from. We saw the chateaus back in spring that were attacked by the federal authorities, so to go from living in those manners to being in a prison cell right now, the center has moved to his two children who once partook in the same extravagant way of life their dad was known for. We generally saw them at the parties on the red rugs toward the front lines of select occasions. They were enjoying a life of ease and comfort, continuing in their father's strides. However, what a great many people didn't know is that they weren't simply spectators. Supposedly, they were right in the main part of it. The FBI had their eyes on them for some time, and when Diddy was captured, it didn't take long for his children to be named as accessories. Why doesn't the public authority believe that he should turn himself in? Light of the fact that then they can't inquire for confinement. So they go, and they capture him. They capture a person who came to New York to turn himself in the most condemning part, their association in that our dad's business was a lot further than anybody acknowledged, while Diddy is having to deal with penalties for all that, from running unlawful activities to monetary wrongdoings. It's currently been uncovered that his children were straightforwardly associated with these plans. They weren't simply living off Diddy's fortune. They were assisting him with building it through obscure arrangements and untrustworthy business rehearsals. When the FBI descended on them, it was clear they had been important for their father's inward circle, mindful of how things were truly later than expected. The scenes, this is a tremendous stain on his notoriety, most definitely. And this truly feels like a go wrong for perhaps of the greatest star and tycoon. Sources near the examination propose that Diddy's sons contributed to piping cash through different channels, making a labyrinth of proposition accounts and sham enterprises that were important for a lot bigger, exceptionally coordinated monetary trick on paper that seemed to be genuine finance managers. However, the truth was a long way from it. Their contribution in tax evasion activities tied straightforwardly back to Diddy's wrongdoings. The entire arrangement was intended to stow away the genuine beginnings of their dad's tremendous fortune, and here's where it gets truly intriguing. The specialists got onto it. Assuming that he's permitted to proceed with any of the business, I will not have the option to recover any of my monies or anything from him because of any conceivable judgment in this activity. Assuming that he's permitted to continue with it, and a directive or limiting request would assist with guaranteeing that he's not controlling and selling the property to keep away from once the FD began digging. Obviously, Diddy children won't escape solid. Confronted with the proof, they were left with two choices: go down with their dad or save themselves. It's being accounted for that the two children immediately understood their circumstance and given a break with agents, and we should be genuine with the plausibility of going through a very long time in prison approaching over them. You can't precisely fault them for needing to stay away from that destiny. Yet, this is where the story takes a turn. Dee never saw it coming. He never anticipated that his own children would be the ones to cut him down. And Stacy, you say the present arraignment peruses like a crowd prosecution. What was most stunning to you of every one of these claims? No doubt the reality, Jake, that the government in this arraignment introduced proof asserting that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise. Imagine the scene. Diddy sitting in a cold, dialit cross-examination room, learning that his children have flipped on him for a man who valued being distant and who went through many years developing a picture of star strength and control. This treachery has probably been squashing the tycoon, who once instructed in realm of music design and media, who is presently being deceived by the very individuals he figured he could trust the most. It's like a Greek misfortune working out in genuine existence with Diddy as the lamentable legend brought somewhere near his own bloodline. Diddy's entertainment has just added fuel to the fire. His extravagant way of life is presently ancient history. As he sits behind bars, anticipating his preliminary as per insiders, he's being held in one of the most brutal confinement communities in the country, the Metropolitan Consideration Focus MDC in Brooklyn. For somebody who once lived in extravagant chateaus, the change should be past troublesome in this terrible office. Diddy no longer partakes in the extravagance he's utilized to. Rather, he awakens every day in a minuscule, austere cell encompassed by the consistent commotion and pressure of jail life. His dinners are no longer connoisseur except for standard jail fare. Dull and insignificant, he's not acclimated to the severe jail schedule. The absence of opportunity or the unforgiving reality that no measure of cash or impact can purchase right out of this client's description DNBC as damnation as the most terrible circumstances they've been in. Reports from inside the detainment place propose that Diddy isn't adapting great. Some say he's segregated himself, declining to lock in with different prisoners, while others guarantee he's been seen pacing his cell for a really long time at a time, deep in thought, whatever the case might be. Obviously, jail life is a long way from the world he once controlled. This is a man who used to toss parties went to by the greatest stars in the world, who had an armada of individual partners taking care of all his impulses presently. He's simply one more detainee anticipating his destiny, and a ton of the affirmed proof that has been assembled in this case was from those two assaults that were led on his own homes in Miami and Los Angeles, and the arraignment names that, the thing held on. To that, he supposedly made recordings of these exhibitions, as that have been named freak-offs. However, it's not only the jail conditions that are weighing on Diddy. It's the mind-boggling feeling of double-crossing his children didn't simply turn him in. They gave over a portion of his most carefully hidden mysteries, and that nobody beyond his internal circle knew. And now that data is in the hands of the specialists, and it's not looking great for Diddy, the very children who should carry on and his heritage have rather added to its finish. Furthermore, utter obliteration is quite possibly one of the greatest disclosures to emerge from this disloyalty. Includes Diddy's scandalous confidential occasions, the very ones that were once viewed as elite welcome, just gatherings for the rich and well-known. While these gatherings were known for their excessive showcases of abundance and overabundance, it turns out they were additionally cover for some a lot hazier exercises, as indicated by the examination. Diddy's children were supposedly associated with planning some of these occasions, guaranteeing that the right individuals were welcomed and that everything went off according to plan. Yet presently, it's being affirmed that they knew precisely what was occurring in the background, and they're not denying it. Rather than remaining by their dad and guaranteeing obliviousness, Diddy children have apparently affirmed that they were completely mindful of what was going on at these occasions. That you're said to have conceded that they had some awareness of the problematic dealings, the back row arrangements, and the obscure characters who regularly visited these social affairs. This was no standard party scene. It was a painstakingly coordinated activity, and Diddy children were a piece of it. Yet when the FBI came thumping, they pursued the choice to remove themselves from their dad's sinking transport. They've given over data that is currently assuming a critical part in the public authority's body eye of evidence against Diddy. We as a whole saw it posted recently all around every social media pages. Cassie battled a claim in New York City against Diddy. She's guaranteeing she was caught in a decades-long pattern of misuse, that obviously there is a crook examination in progress, and that they accept that there would be proof of wrongdoings in either of these homes. However, here is the kicker: the twins. Diddy's little girls seem, by all accounts, to be uninvolved. Sources near the family recommend that they are guiltless in all of this, totally uninformed about the odd exercises happening in the background. In reality, they are being depicted as casualties cleared up in the disarray their dad made. They'll probably act as observers in the preliminary serving to substantiate the FBI's case, yet it's clear they had no hand in the lawbreaker tasks, not at all like their siblings. The twins will probably rise out of the embarrassment. Subscribe Apple World for more videos.